Hey everybody, we are back with another episode of Real Talks where we ask real questions about real estate. I got Mark Chan here with me again today, and he's gonna fire off another question.
Yes, the word contingencies, we hear about this all the time when it comes to the real estate transaction. What are contingencies?
Contingency, so I guess the true definition of a contingency is giving somebody enough time to do a specific action. In a real estate transaction, there's probably really, for a buyer at least, there's three really important contingencies. You're gonna have your loan contingency, appraisal contingency, and then also your inspection contingency. Standard in the contract here in California or in Los Angeles, typically you're gonna get 17 days to get an appraisal on a property. Basically what an appraisal is that somebody that goes out to the property and evaluates to let you know what they feel at that given time is the value of the house.
Okay.
Typically this is going to be ordered from the lender because the lender is going to give you money based on the fact that the house is worth what you're paying. So they want to make sure that whatever you're agreeing to purchasing the property at, the property is actually worth that amount. So that's what the appraiser is going to go out there and check. The second contingency is going to be your loan contingency. So majority of the people out there, when you're buying a piece of property or you're even looking for homes, everyone's usually asking for pre-approval. That doesn't guarantee that you're actually going to get the loan. There's other items or documents that a borrower or the buyer needs to furnish over to the bank before they make their final commitment saying, yes, we will give you a loan. So that takes a little bit of time as well too in order to do that. Standard is, like I said, 21 days to be able to get all those documentations in. Then they have what they call an underwriter to review all the documentation. And if everything passes, everything checks, then they're able to deliver and issue you a loan to purchase the property. The last contingency is probably the most important, which is your inspection contingency. This covers the general home inspection that people should do, plus on top of that, it also covers all the disclosures and the reports that a seller would give to a buyer to take a look at to be able to know exactly what the true condition of the property is going to be.
So going back to the first contingency that we were talking about, the appraisal contingency, what happens if the appraisal comes back and it's, unsatisfactory?
So the appraisal it'll come back with the price. Okay. So if that price isn't at least the value of what the agreed to purchase price is, that does give the buyer an option to cancel the agreement based off of that specific contingency. That's why it's very important that that contingency is in place because, you, for example, say, I'm gonna buy this house for $1 million, and then the appraiser says, oh no, value is only really $900,000. Now you have a way to cancel the agreement, and then you can also get your deposit back, which is the money that you put in to basically hold the property so you can do the investigations and perform on the contingencies that you have.
So you mentioned that one is 17 days. So you basically have 17 days for this appraiser to go out to the property. They do their report, you get it back, and then you have that time frame to kind of make that decision.
Correct. So if the property doesn't appraise, then you could do a couple of things first. Number one is you're gonna wanna try to at least renegotiate with the seller. Hey, the property came at this price, this is the price that we want. It doesn't always happen that you get the appraisal price. Sometimes I always say there's gonna be some compromise, you meet somewhere in the middle somewhere. But if the seller really says, nope, I don't want to renegotiate the price is the price, then you as the buyer have the option to cancel the agreement if you want.
Are there any other options available?
I mean, you can go back to the appraiser if you want. You can do what we call reconsideration and try to get the property reassessed in terms of the value. But most appraisers, from my experience, are not going to change their evaluation.
And then the next contingency that we're talking about was the loan contingency. What are we looking for within that contingency period? You said 21 days.
What we're really looking for is the lender going to give you the money to buy the house. Because for most people that aren't buying all cash, you're gonna get a loan. So if the bank doesn't give you the loan to buy the property, then of course there's really no means for you to to be able to even afford or purchase the home because you're hoping that the bank is going to give you the money. So if the bank doesn't approve you after looking at all your financials, like your tax returns, pay stubs, making sure you still have your job and so forth, if they don't approve you, then of course you can cancel the transaction because the appraisal contingency allows you to do that. And then from there, you can get your deposit back again.
And then finally, the last one, the inspection, 17 days for that one as well. What are we looking for in that contingency period?
So there's going to be a set of reports usually that the seller is going to give to a buyer to review. There's also a set of disclosures and questions that a seller has to fill out and answer truthfully to the best of their knowledge, so the buyer knows the true condition of the property. Because I always tell people, whenever you go see a house, you're literally just gonna see it for maybe a few hours, or even the first showing is probably like 15 to 30 minutes. You don't know the true condition of the home just by what we see. And then plus on top of that, we always stress for buyers to do inspections on the property. It could be the general home inspection, anything that is of, I would say, importance for a buyer, they should always do an inspection. So it could be plumbing, it could be electrical, it could be roofing, it could be just even checking schools. Something like that is all part of that inspection contingency. And if there's anything in any of those reports, any of those disclosures that the seller filled out after a buyer reviews it that they're not happy with, they can definitely cancel the transaction and, like I said, get that deposit back again.
What exactly does it mean when the time frame expires? Like what's happening on that 17th day or that 21st day?
I would say that's a little bit of a trick question because it really depends on how it is worded in the actual purchase agreement. But if you default to the California contract, in the way that our contracts are written, the contingencies must be removed in writing. So even though the time has elapsed, so let's say we're given 17 days to do a specific contingency like the appraisal, and we don't complete the appraisal until like day 18 or 19, it doesn't mean you automatically remove the contingency. But the thing to understand about that though, a seller can issue what we call notice to perform. If we haven't removed that contingency by that specific date, and if you don't remove it within 48 hours from the time they deliver that to you, then the seller can cancel you in the transaction.
And by the seller signing off on that contingency, what are they ultimately saying? That they're good with, let's go back to the appraisal contingency. Mm-hmm. I sign off that appraisal contingency. What exactly does that mean?
When you sign off on all of your contingencies or a specific contingency, when you're signing off on any of them, you're basically saying that you have done all of your investigation, it's satisfactory to your needs, and you are willing to sign off on this, so you can't come back and say, oh, the property didn't appraise, or oh, I didn't do this inspection, let me do this now, and then you find out something is wrong with the property and then try to cancel. So at that point, what I usually tell the people is if you're signing off on your contingencies, that's like the point of no return. You have to be fully committed by that time, because if not, you decide to cancel anytime after this, you're basically putting your initial deposit at jeopardy.
Cool, thanks for explaining that. I think contingencies are one of the more complicated parts of the transaction that a lot of time buyers get confused with.
Correct. Hopefully you guys like that episode. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you, and see you next time.